This is the first episode of a series where I'll be speaking to inspiring people and about their relationship to sustainability. My guest today is one of the most inspiring people that I know. He's super passionate, driven and dedicated, and he works hard to help others. He's the world champion in windsurf. He has toured around Sweden's schools only with an electric car and a tent, and he's just released an epic documentary. This is Adam Holm. Thank you so much for being here with me today, Adam. It's an honor. So this is Adam Holm, for anyone who doesn't know. And he won the Windsurf Championship of 2017, which is amazing, well done. And I know that you've been spending a lot of years training and competing, and I'm wondering now, will you continue to compete, or how will you proceed?
Nope, I won't continue. I think I will always do windsurfing.
Yeah.
But now my focus is elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I did a 6-year Olympic campaign,
yeah.
And my only goal was to win the Olympics in Rio.
Yeah.
And spend every breath I had, every penny, every hour to try and win the Olympics. Yeah. So my goal was always to win the Olympics, but to do it so that I could have an Olympic gold medal in my hand and use the power of that to have a good impact on this world.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't always that, but I realized that like 2 years before the Olympics that's my main drive.
Yeah.
And so now I'm doing the same thing in a different way.
Yeah.
Making movies and having seminars, having retreats and adventure weekends, bringing people out there. And
so you've been working with a project called Chasing the Elements, and you recently had it screened in a cinema here in Stockholm, Sweden, and also recently in Åre in northern Sweden in the Swedish Alps. Can you tell me more about the project and what is the purpose of the project?
So when I got the decision that I wasn't going to go to the Olympics in Rio, then I was like, okay, what do I do now? First of all, the world just sort of crashed, and you just want to disappear.
Yeah.
And then out of the ashes, rised Chasing the Elements. I figured that my Olympic campaign was just too self-centered. I had to just focus on myself, like eat, sleep, train. And now I just wanted to focus on something where I could like contribute more to something that's bigger than me. I went to a meeting with Sustainable Seas, which is an organization that deals with the Baltic, and realized that not enough people give a shit about the Baltic, and it's in trouble. And I asked myself, why is that? And then I did a quick Google search and realized that only 10% of the people who live in Stockholm get out in the archipelago. And for those who are listening to this who don't know what the archipelago of Stockholm is, it's like 30,000 islands outside of this like beautiful city that are just lying there waiting to get explored and seen, and only 10% of the people who live in Stockholm actually get out, and it's like just outside here. But basically, Chasing the Elements is a project where we are inspiring people to get outside.
Yeah, you're doing these sports in the outdoors, and you want to create awareness, because you were also saying that people don't give a shit about the Baltic Sea, but it's because they're unaware of what's happening around them, or?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You as a human, you can't care about something that you don't have a relationship to.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can discuss what a relationship to, but I mean, you can never, if you are like strongly connected enough so that you can like care about all the people on this planet, then you can, but most people can't.
Yeah.
So that means that if the youths today grow up in front of screens which they are right now, like spending more than 7 hours every day in front of screens, sitting still, then they won't care about nature, and that will be like the end of this world, basically. Like if they grow up without a relationship to nature, they won't care about it, and that's only one part of it. That's the first part. And if they just keep sitting in front of screens, that comes with a lot of other diseases and sad things. And they won't feel very good. Basically.
We need our environment more than ever, but the way the world is evolving, we are now using it less than ever. Wait, let me explain.
So, I feel like when having watched Chasing the Elements, you want to convey a strong message of the interconnectedness between human and nature. How did you come up with the idea that, first of all, that you were going to go to Norway, and what do you think? How do you think you inspire people when you choose these locations and with the sports? Like, what's the thought process behind that?
Basically, we just wanted to make the most inspiring video that we could make. So we chose the most inspiring, beautiful landscapes that we could find, which was northern Norway. And we chose a crew, which was going to be as inspiring as possible. So like we needed the wow factor, creating something that is like, wow, this is amazing. So we had professionals in each element of nature. Like surfers, downhill longboarders, I was paragliding, windsurfers, kite surfers, and then to create a relationship to the ones that like aren't professional, because most people aren't professional, and we wanted to inspire everyone. We had the amateurs or like rookies traveling with us, just to prove that you don't have to freaking win the Olympics. You just have to get out there and like find your comfort zone. That's what it's all about. It's not about pushing the comfort zone of the sport.
You're an athlete that in many ways you're dependent on different elements of the nature. So you do windsurfing, so you have both like the wind and the water, and you do snow sports, you have the snows and the mountains and stuff like that. And I was just curious to know if you have seen or noticed any difference in kind of nature. I mean, you've been doing this for like your whole life, basically. Have you seen any difference in nature and the behavior of like these elements?
I'd say the clearest difference I've seen is that like I grew up in the Baltic. My whole family is sailors, so there's a small island just far outside in the archipelago of Stockholm, which is called Sandhamn. And so my grandfather was a seaman and a pilot, and I don't mean like a pilot driving airplanes, a pilot driving boats, like guiding the big ships. And so like they lived on that island, and now I spend every summer of my life. I have spent every summer of my life there, and so like on places where I normally like where I was fishing abborre, this fish that you fish and you can eat. Down by the dock where I could see the bottom. I can't see the bottom anymore, and I'm 23 years old. That's pretty crazy.
And having seen this impact, for example, how does that make you reflect kind of on your/human behavior towards nature? You've already mentioned a little bit before that we're lacking a connectedness with nature. But when you see this impact that we have on nature, but probably without even being aware of it, what does that make you think or feel?
I think that it's not only us, like people are not caring enough about nature. To begin with, it's like people are not caring enough about themselves. Like they seem to be stuck in some sort of like, this is what life should be. I should make a career, I should do this because that's what society tells me. So I have to sit here and I have to like make these, I don't know what they are doing. And I have to, keep running in this hamster wheel, like run. And if I run fast enough, then I can buy myself a hamster cage. Now I'm like exaggerating a lot, but hamster cage where I can live close to a lot of other hamsters that I won't know very well because But the higher up I live and the bigger my hamster cage is, the more status I will have, and that's good.
Yeah.
So to begin with, I think that they are lacking a connection to themselves. They don't know like what's true for them. A lot of people, and some do, but a lot of people don't know what's true for them. When I say what's true, I mean like what they really love doing and what they really feel good about, and that connection to themselves. Because when you have that connection, then you can start sharing it and also truly connect with nature and truly connect with others. And if you ask me, that's what life is about. Like your relationships, your family, your friends, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or whatever. I don't really care where I live as long as I'm surrounded by the people I love.
You watched the documentary before the flood.
Exactly. I love that you wrote that when we prepared for this interview, because I was like, oh yeah, that's what the name of that movie is. I totally forgot.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, it's basically a documentary, I think directed, or I don't know, not sure about produced, but whatever, with Leonardo DiCaprio, who is going around the world and kind of looking how nature has been affected by global warming and speaking to experts within their areas or political leaders about this phenomenon. And after having seen this documentary, you were inspired to start eating a vegetarian diet. Are you doing that still? Or?
True.
Yeah. So
correct.
What what was it that motivated you and engaged you to do that, to make that fairly large change in your life?
So we made this movie just because I saw that glitch, if we can call it that, in society, that people are not spending enough time outside. That's where it all began. And then I was like, well, we need to do something here so that people can feel better and so that people can also care more about nature. That's what we're doing. And at the time, I was traveling a lot and I was eating meat, and I was just like, I was not living very sustainable. I just knew that I care a lot. I do have a strong relationship to nature, and I do care a lot about it. But I didn't know that because I've only been focusing on winning the Olympics, And now I'm starting to learn more about it, and that was one of the steps. Yeah. And I like that you brought that up, because that was probably one of the bigger decisions that I made. Like, okay, so meat is bad for the environment. I'm going to stop eating meat. Yeah. And the funny thing about that is that, I had, during my Olympic campaign, one of the bigger reasons why I didn't qualify was that my stomach got totally fucked. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on this. Okay, that happened. Beep! My stomach got destroyed. Yeah. And it was because of stress, mostly. But when I stopped eating meat, my stomach got way better. I started feeling way better. My energy level was a lot better. Yeah. It's better for the environment. This is what I realized after I saw the movie before the flood. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to become a vegetarian just because if I'm going to talk the talk, I'm going to walk the walk. Yeah. So, but then I realized, it's cheaper, it's way better for me, I feel better, and it's better for the planet. Yeah. It's like, it just makes perfect sense.
There's so many downsides. Yeah. That's, I can totally identify with that, because both Alex and I have had a similar experience with a different documentary, but also involving Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah. Thanks, Leo.
Shout out to Leo, my man. That might be the good next interview for this project.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's get in contact with him.
If
you see this, Leo, we're looking for you.
Exactly. So you mentioned already that you had higher energy levels and you had a really positive impact, and you're a guy that basically you're a pro athlete. So I mean you make it work anyway, because a lot of people are concerned with lack of protein, and they don't know how they're going to live without all of this protein that they feel like they cannot find elsewhere except for meat. But for you, it's worked really well, it seems.
Yes, and to be honest, at first I became a vegetarian. I still ate some fish. I like started a bit slowly, and then I totally stopped eating fish without thinking much. I'm gonna stop eating fish, and I didn't like plan my diet very well. So in the beginning, I was lacking a bit of energy, and I was like, but my stomach got a lot better. If you're gonna switch, you can't just switch. You need to just consciously plan so that you get enough, because it's not. Once you do that, then it's no problem at all to get enough protein. You have beans, you have a lot of different things, like egg. That's like the best protein you can find. Unless you're a vegan, then you can also find. I was a vegan as well for like 2 months or something, and that worked very well as well. But I just found it to be a vegan was a bit too much if you're traveling and if you're like running a lot of other things and eating not at your house.
So do you find that you've seen a difference though when you're around, that there's more like vegetarian options and stuff?
Yes, here everywhere. Like I haven't like we can always find vegetarian option, even though it's not the vegetarian option on the menu, which it happens sometimes. You're just like, hey, I see that you have pizzas with like tomatoes and lettuce, or like, could you just like put that in a bowl for me and put some beans and some like seeds on top?
What is your tip to anyone who would like to live more sustainably and doesn't know really where to start?
That's a good question. I think that if you want to live more sustainably, just start with yourself. Where are you? What can you do? And every small step in the right direction is a step in the right direction. And you don't have to look around and look outwardly so much. It's more important like where you are and where you stand.
Do you mean like internally or in your life, kind of?
Like internally to start with, because everything starts from within. That's a super cliche saying, but it's a cliche because it's so true. And start from within. Start from like, don't do stuff just because your mom told you to do it. Do stuff because you want to do it, and then from there evolve in whatever direction where you want to go. And it starts here. I stopped eating meat because I know that the meat industry is not good for the environment, so that's what I did. I think it's an easy and nice way to start because it's also good for your body. So I would recommend that, perhaps. I'm not sure, to be honest. But you have to start from where you are. That's my tip.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay. Thank you.
Over and out?
Over and out.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
Nice. That wasn't a good high five.
Normally what we do is a hand hug. So you do like, boom. You see? Hands hugging.
They're hugging. That's really funny. I've never heard of that before.
Hand hug. Great way.
That's really funny. Thank you so much for having... No, not for having me.
Thank you for having me.
It
was a lot of fun.
Ciao. Whatever that month, ciao.